Hello everyone. Today I am going to be showing you how to achieve a kind of like Minecraft looking texture within Blender. And the really nice thing about this is that you don't need any image textures to achieve this effect. This was all built within Blender itself using the shading editor. And so without further ado, I am going to be showing you how to kind of achieve this Minecraft looking effect within Blender. And so first things first, we are going to be adding a cube, or oops, not appended. Why is it appending here? Let me okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to be adding a cube, and then we are going to go into the shading editor, and then I'm going to be copying the you know the nodes, and then paste it within the the cube itself. And so first things first, we're gonna give this cube a material. So we're gonna go click on here, and then we're going to paste the nodes. And so what you're going to need is a brick texture, a mapping node, and a texture coordinate. And so you want the UV of the texture coordinate plugged into the vector of the mapping node, and then you want the mapping node, the vector node of the mapping into the brick texture, which is this right here. And then finally, you want to tweak these settings right here. So you want the offset set to 1, the frequency to 2, and then you want to set the squash to 0.8, and then the frequency to 4. So as you can see here, and then you also want to set the scale to 5, and the bias to -0.4, the brick width to 0.7, and the row height to 0.150. And once you have that, you just plug it into the base color. Oh, and one more thing, you want to set the scale to -5.7, which is this right here of the x-axis, and make sure you have this set to point. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the really nice thing about this is that you can change the color of the
Would you need the medicine, Iris?
Now you may be wondering as to why it looks darker than usual. As you can see, this one over here is a little bit brighter compared to this one. And that's mainly because this one has the emission and the diffuse BSDF. Plug it into the output. So all we have to do is go back to our basic cube, delete the principled BSDF, and then we're going to be adding a diffuse shader, and we're also going to be adding an emission shader. And so then we want to plug in both the color nodes from the diffuse shader and the emission shader into the color of the brick texture itself. So just like that. And then we're going to add a mixed shader, which is this right here. And then we're going to plug both the diffuse shader and the emission shader into the mixed shader, and then plug it into the surface. And then what you want to do is you want to increase the strength of the emission itself. So like I'm going to give it a 5, and as you can see, it's becoming a little bit more brighter. So you can adjust it to however you want. You can make it darker, or if you want it brighter, you can just increase the value if you want to. But for me, I want to set it to 15. And so let's say I want to change the color of this. So like all we have to do is go down here, and then let's say I want this to kind of be like a reddish color. We can just set this one to red, and then we want to set this one to like a greenish color. And so we'll kind of get like this pinkish and greenish looking color within within Blender itself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you want to add more like colors onto the object itself, all you have to do is duplicate the brick texture itself, and then we are going to be adding a mix color, and then plug that in, and then we're gonna plug in both this, so both into here, and then we want to switch the offset for the second one, set it to 1, and then we want to, and then you're gonna want to duplicate both the mapping node, well, just the mapping node itself, and then we're gonna plug it into the vector, and so now we can change the color for this one. So let's say I want it to be, okay, here. And so the really nice thing is that, let's say you want to give it like, eyes. All you have to do is go into edit mode and subdivide the cube, like I'd say like around 4 times. And so now what we can do is we can give it like, eyes. So all you have to do is go down here into the material properties, click on the plus sign, give it a new material, and then we're going to select where you want to put your eyes. So in my case, I want to put them right here. So these are going to be the eyes. So we're just going to click on the second material, which is right here, and then click assign. And then for the iris, we had to do the same thing. So click on the plus, give it a new material, and then for the iris, we're going to select this one and this one. Make sure that it's the last one right here, and then we're going to click assign. And let's say I want to give them like, reddish looking eyes, we can just switch it if we want to. And if we want to give them like blue irises, we just go back to the the second material output, and then we could change the color, and we'll kind of get like this weird red eye looking thing. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the this is what you primarily want to look for, which is the brick texture, the mapping node, and the texture coordinate, and then plug both of these in to kind of get this effect. And so when it comes to organic objects, you usually want to set the rotation to 90 degrees, but in this case it looks completely fine. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's all I have.